The sun had barely crept over the horizon when Jack heard the chickens squawking louder than usual. He grabbed his hat and stepped out of the farmhouse, boots crunching against the frost-covered ground. That's when he saw her, a young woman in a tattered coat, her hands trembling as she reached into the henhouse, carefully placing eggs into a cloth sack. She didn't hear him approach. Jack stood there for a moment, watching her work with a desperate kind of precision, as if each egg represented another day of survival. Her dark hair fell across her face, and even from a distance, he could see how thin she was, how her coat hung loose on her frame. "Those are my eggs," Jack said quietly. The woman spun around, dropping the sack. Eggs cracked against the ground, yolks spreading across the dirt like spilled sunshine. Her eyes went wide with terror, and she took a step back, her whole body tensing as if preparing to run. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking, "I'm sorry. I'll work it off, I'll do anything, just don't call the sheriff." Jack studied her face, the hollow cheeks, the dark circles under her eyes, the way her hands shook not just from cold but from hunger. He'd seen that look before, during the hard years when his own family had struggled to keep food on the table. "What's your name?" he asked, making no move toward her. "Emma," she said after a hesitation. "Emma Walsh." "Well, Emma Walsh, you're right about one thing. You will work it off. Come inside. You look like you haven't eaten in days." Emma stood frozen, suspicion warring with hope in her expression. "Why would you help me?" "I was stealing from you, because I've been hungry before," Jack said simply. "And because everyone deserves a second chance." Over breakfast eggs, ironically, along with bacon and fresh bread, Emma's story spilled out between bites. Her father had died in a mining accident. Her mother had passed from illness the following winter. Emma had been left alone with debts she couldn't pay and nowhere to turn. She'd been traveling from town to town, picking up work where she could, but winter had made everything harder. "I'm not a thief," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I never was before. I just didn't know what else to do." Jack poured her more coffee. "Everyone's one bad winter away from desperate choices. The measure of a person isn't whether they fall, it's whether they get back up." Emma stayed. What was meant to be a few days of working off her debt turned into weeks, then months. She proved herself capable and hardworking, tending the animals, mending fences, and bringing an unexpected warmth to the lonely farmhouse. Jack found himself listening for her laughter, looking forward to their conversations over dinner, noticing the way the morning light caught in her hair. Emma felt it too, the way her heart jumped when Jack smiled, how safe she felt for the first time in years, how this broken-down farm had begun to feel like home. But she kept her feelings buried, convinced that a man like Jack, kind, decent, respected in town, could never truly want someone like her, someone who'd started as a thief on his property. Spring came, and with it a letter. Emma's hands shook as she read it. A distant relative she'd never met had left her a small inheritance, not much, but enough to start over somewhere new, to build a different life. Jack found her sitting on the porch steps that evening, the letter clutched in her hands. "You're leaving," he said. "It wasn't a question." "I have the money to go now," Emma said softly. "To start fresh somewhere nobody knows what I did." Jack sat down beside her, his shoulder brushing hers. "What if I told you I don't want you to go?" Emma's breath caught. "Jack, that first morning when I found you in the henhouse, I had a choice," Jack said, staring out at the fields turning gold in the sunset. "I could see a thief, or I could see a person in trouble. I chose to see you, Emma, the real you. And every day since, you've shown me I was right. You're honest, hardworking, kind. You make this place feel alive again." "I stole from you," Emma whispered. "You took eggs because you were starving. That's not who you are, that's what circumstances forced you to become for one desperate moment." Jack turned to face her, his eyes intense. "I'm not asking about your past, Emma. I'm asking about your future. You could take that money and start over alone, or," he paused, gathering courage, "or you could stay here, with me, not as a worker. As my wife, if you'll have me." Emma stared at him, tears spilling down her cheeks. "You're serious?" "I've never been more serious about anything in my life." "So what do you say, Emma Walsh? Do you want to work off that debt forever, or do you want to wear white and stand beside me for the rest of our lives?" Through her tears, Emma smiled, a radiant, transformative smile that made Jack's heart soar. "I choose you," she whispered. "I choose us." As the sun set over the farm, Jack pulled Emma close, and in that embrace was forgiveness, hope, and the promise that sometimes our darkest moments lead us exactly where we're meant to be.